Guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. On this video, I'm going to be showing you how to draft a corset pattern. Trust me, this is going to be the easiest you would find on the internet. So I have marked out my basic bodies as you can see on the pattern paper. There I have the shoulder line, the chest line, the bust point line, the underbust line, and the waist line. So those are the measurements you mark, and I'm going to be using from the bust point line downwards. Okay, we are not going to be using the shoulder line for the marking of this pattern. All right, so the first thing you want to do is to go ahead and mark your bust pan measurement on your bust point line. Your bust pan measurement is the distance between one nipple to the other nipple. Mine is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So I'll mark that 4 inches on the bust point line, the underbust line, and on the waist line. Okay, so I'm just going to mark that. After you've marked your bust pan, you're going to go ahead and connect the points you made with your straight ruler, just the way I'm doing it here. After doing that, the next thing you want to do is to take in your dart. On the underbust line, I marked 1 inch to the right and 1 inch to the left side. On the waistline, I'm marking 1 inch to the left as well as 1 inch to the right to get a straight line. So after marking that, I'm taking my straight ruler to connect the points I just made now. So I'm going to connect the underbust to the waistline, and I'm going to do the same on this side as well. So now I'm going to connect these points to my bust point. I'm going to use my curve ruler so that I can get that cup shape on the bust side of this pattern. Okay, so I will use my curved ruler, connect it to the bust points from the underbust like this. So after connecting it, this is what I have. So next thing you want to do is to go ahead and take the measurement from the underbust to the bust point. Okay, so you are going to measure it, whatever you have. Mine, I have 3.5. So whatever you have for yours, you are going to mark it the way I'm doing here. So I'll mark 3.5 on that point. I'm going to leave the measuring tape on the bust point, rotate the measuring tape and mark again. I'm going to continue marking to form like a circle or a semicircle on the right side of my pattern, like so. So on the upper part as well, I'm going to mark 3.5. So I'm going to keep marking that. After marking that, I'm going to go ahead and connect my points with a dotted line like this. So if you don't have a curved ruler, you can use this method I am using here to curve out your points. So I'm just marking a dotted lines on the points I made like so. So I have sort of a semicircle like this after marking it. All right, so towards this armhole side, that is the left side, I'm going to go ahead and add half an inch to the measurement I got from marking my underbust and the bust point distance. Okay, so remember I got 3.5, so I added half an inch to that. I have 4 inches. Okay, so towards this side I'm marking 4 inches. The reason I'm doing this is because the bust is usually fuller on the inner side than on the outer side, that is towards the center side. It is fuller on the left side than on the right side. Okay, so I'm just marking 4 inches all around like so. Okay, so after that I'm just going to also mark dotted lines to get my full circle for the cup of this corset. Okay, after doing that, this is what I have. So I'm going to connect those points like so using my free hand. So if you don't have a curved ruler, you can use this method I'm using. It's very easy. It's a very easy method to connect your points like this without ruler, okay? Without any curved ruler. So you are going to do this the way I'm doing it here, and it's very, very easy to do, okay? So in case you want to use your ruler, I'm going to show you how you can also use your ruler to curve this point. So you're just going to place your ruler like so, the curved edge, and you're going to use it to curve out the point like this also. Okay, so after curving it out, this is what I have for the cup of the corset. So we are going to go ahead now and insert the remaining measurements. Okay, so I'm going to mark the neck depth of this corset. So this totally depends on you. If you want yours to be lower, you can go low. If you want it to be high, you can go high. But for mine, I marked 8 inches. All right, so on that 8 inches point, I'm going to go in by half an inch like so, and I'm also going to mark half an inch on the bust point line, and I'm going to connect the 2 points I just made now. So what we are trying to do is to get the middle point, this point that is showing on the image. That is what we are trying to do. So that half inch we went in by is this point that I put on the screen that you are seeing like so. Okay, so now this is what I have. After marking that, the neck, I'm going to go ahead and extend the center line to the upper part of the cup like this. After doing that, I'm going to take in the dart. Towards the right side, or the inner side, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches. 1 inch. And on the left side, I took half an inch. So I'm going to connect the point. The reason I marked that, like I explained before, the bust is fuller at the inner side. This part where I took the 1 inch, the bust is fuller at that side. So at the other side, it's not that full. So that's why I took in half an inch like so. So I'm connecting the points that I made like so. So this is what we have. As you can see, the cups are already in shape. So to make sure that I have the same length, I'm going to measure from that point to the bust point like so. And whatever I have on this side, I'm going to make sure I have the same on the other side. So after checking mine, I discovered that mine was shorter with about 1 bar. So I'm extending that other side with the 1 bar that it's shorter with, so that I can have the same side, the same length on the 2 sides. So I'm just going to connect this with my curved ruler. So as you can see, I've connected it and the 2 sides are equal now. This point and these other points are now equal, as you can see. So moving on, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 34 inches divided by 4 is 8.5. So I marked that measurement on the bust point line. So we are going to ignore the under bust line. I don't use the under bust line for my corset. So I'm marking my waistline on the waist measurement, and I'm going to add 2 inches that I removed for the dart on the waist measurement as well. Okay, so I'm just going to connect the waistline measurement down to the bust line of this pattern. Okay, so after doing that, this is what I have. The next thing you want to do is to go ahead and curve out your armhole. So from that armhole, you are going to connect down to the corset just like this. You are going to find a smooth curve for the armhole the way I'm doing it here. Okay, and then you can go ahead and connect the points from the bust point line to the armhole. So if you have your curved ruler, you can also use your curved ruler to curve out the armhole properly, like the way I'm doing here. So this is what we have after marking our pattern. Okay, so before we go ahead and cut it, we are going to label this, okay, so we don't get confused. So that I labeled it center 1, side 1. So we have center 2 and we also have side 2. So after the labeling, we can go ahead and cut out our pattern. Okay, so you are going to take note of how I am cutting this pattern, because you don't want to cut it the wrong way. So I'm going to gradually cut this so that you will see how you are going to cut out your pattern. It is actually very, very easy. Trust me. So I'm cutting out the dart that I marked for the inner side. So I'm just going to cut out the side 2 for the pattern. Alright, so after cutting it out, we have the 4 parts of our corset ready. So we have the center, the side, and the 2 center and the 2 sides, just like this. So as you can see, this is what I have. You see that the center one is smaller than the side one, as you can see. So this is what you want to achieve for yours. For this pattern, I didn't add any seam allowance to our pattern, okay? So when I'm cutting on the fabric, I'm going to go ahead and add my seam allowances all around the pattern, okay? I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cut the back panel of this corset top, okay? So this is my pattern. I have outlined my basic bodies as always, and I'm going to go ahead and label each line. So here I have the bust point, the under bust, and the waistline. So the first measurement we are going to insert is a bust pan. Mine is 4 inches, so on the bust point I'm going to mark 4 inches. On the under bust line I'm going to mark 4 inches as well, and on the waistline I'm going to mark 4 inches. I'm going to take my straight ruler and connect these points together from the bust point to the waistline. After that, on the under bust, I'm going to mark half an inch to the right side and half an inch to the left side. On the waistline, I'm going to also mark half an inch to the left side and half an inch to the right side. I'm going to connect the points together like so, using my straight ruler. Alright, so after doing that, I'm going to connect the points down to the bust point line. Okay, so right here is our dart. On the bust point line, I'm going to mark 1/4 of my bust measurement, which is 8.5 inches. And ignoring the under bust line again, I'm going to go ahead and mark 1/4 of my waistline measurement, which is 6.75 on the waistline. And I'm going to mark the 1 inch I removed for the dart. So I'm going to connect the point to the bust line like so, using my straight ruler. Alright, so after that we are going to mark the depth of the neckline. So this totally depends on how low you want it. For mine, I used a neck depth of 9.5. You can do 9 inches, you can do 7, you can do 8, depending on how low you want it to be. So I'm going to connect that to the armhole like so, and I'm going to connect it to the bust measurements just like this. So for the neck depth, it totally depends on you. The way you curve it out depends on your preference. You can decide to go ahead and curve from the corner like this, go deeper and just curve to the center like this. However you want it. You can take it higher if you don't want it to be lower. You can even go lower than what I did. It just depends on what you want. But whatever you do, just make sure you connect it to the armhole of the pattern. Alright, so after that we are going to go ahead and cut out this pattern for the back. So right here is the back. I'm going to go right ahead and bring the other patterns to show you. So now we have the front and the back pattern of our corset ready. So you see, like I said, it's very easy to make. For the back, we are going to cut 2. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to do this. So thank you so much for watching this video. That'll be it for now until I see you in my next video. Bye.